Right, so with the hands in there, we have basically the whole body. But what I want to do next is sort of clean house a little bit to sort of fix some things. And you might want to add more elements. So my guy's pretty basic, but what you want to do is separate the character into like their different elements. So for example, he's got a head, which we don't have yet, right? But that's one material. He's got hands. This coat would be one material. His pants would be one material. His shoes would be another material. So I just want to separate those out so that way we can affect them and adjust them each separately. It'll make it easier for modeling and texturing and all the other bits. So I'm going to select the body here. I'm going to hit tab, and I'm going to basically try and grab all the elements here. I'm going to hit Shift Z to quickly switch to wireframe, and I'm going to grab where I think the shirt would be. So that's about the shirt line. I'm going to grab this as well, grab that as well. So we just do that. And then we're just going to go to mesh and we're going to do separate. Where are you? Separate. And then we're going to do by selection, and that will remove that from that selection. Great. Okay. Now let's grab this. I'm going to hit tab again. I just kind of clicked off and clicked back on, and I'm going to grab the shoes, and we're going to say they are this part here. That seems fair. I'm going to grab these as well, and we're just going to go ahead and do mesh, and we're going to do separate. We're going to do by selection. Okay. Now what you want to do is I'm just going to hit tab to get back into object mode. I'm just going to go ahead and name all these so that I know what they are. So this, we'll call this pants. This we'll call, I guess I'm more like sneakers. And what's this? We'll call these hands. And this will be torso. Okay, so now we have them all named, makes it a little bit easier so we know what is what. Okay, so the next thing to do basically is to make some more adjustments as far as the design is concerned. So my guy is pretty straightforward, but you might want to add some basically style elements or make some adjustments to yours, right? So to do that, I'm gonna hit Shift Z to get back out of that mode. I'm going to, so for example, on his coat here, I have these like little cuffs. You can see his coat doesn't, I don't really have that in that detail right now. So what I'm gonna do is just add that. So I'm gonna go to this, I'm gonna hit tab, and I just want to add that in here. So one thing I could do is just add some like edges in here to basically add those details. So I'm gonna hit Control R. I'm gonna click, and I'm just gonna drag down to roughly where I think that cuff would be. Let's say like that. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit Shift Z. I'm gonna hit 3, so I grab the faces. I'm going to grab all these through, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit S, and I'm just going to scale it in a little bit so it's more like the cuff would be, right? I'm going to hit Shift Z again. You can see now I need to have it come out, so I'm just going to hit Control R. I'm going to click there. Let's drag down here. While I still have it selected, I'm just going to S, and I'm just going to puff it out a little bit, and now I more or less got kind of that geometry I would need for that element, right? So if I should need like a crease or something like that, that's another thing that you can, potentially add. So I'd want to do that also maybe on the bottom here as well. Maybe you can see there's kind of a crease in his jacket here, so I could just sort of do the same thing here. I could just do Control R, put that in there. We'll just put it kind of higher up. We'll say right here. And then maybe I just grab this edge and then just do G and kind of pull it up and over like that. I'm gonna hit 1, select this, and do G, kind of pull that up like that, and then that'll kind of give that detail. Now, if you need to add other things like maybe you want them to have like buttons or something on their shirt. He doesn't really have buttons, but let's say I do. I would just make those as separate objects. So I would just do like Shift A, do a mesh, go ahead and do a cylinder. The cylinder is way high poly, so generally speaking, when you do your cylinders, just always make them 8. Okay. If you recall, that's what we did last time. I'm just going to do G and I'm going to do Y just to pull it forward. And then I'm going to hit S to scale this sucker way down. I'm going to go ahead and go get closer to it. I'm going to hit tab to go into edit mode. I'm going to use the knife. I'm going to hit K because we have bad geometry, right? I got to make sure I do this, this to this, and then we'll do K. And I'm going to go from here to here, enter. And then the other thing I want to do is I'm actually going to hit 3 and I'm going to get rid of this part and you'll see why. So I'm hit 3, I'm going to select that. I'm going to hit X or delete to delete the faces, choose faces like that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is tab. I'm going to select this. I'm going to hit R and then I'm going to do Z because I want to, oh, I'm sorry, I'm at S and Z. I want to scale it down so it's more like button shaped. All right. And then I need to put it up on his chest here. So I'm gonna go to side view. I'm gonna hit R. I'm gonna hold Control so that I can snap it. Good. I'm gonna hit G. I'm gonna go up here. We'll go like that, and let's get in closer. That button's obviously way too big, so I'll just hit R. Oops. Let's do R, and then I want to do it on the X-axis. So I'll do RX, and that way I can just go like this. And then I'm just going to S, and I'll scale it like that. Now, the reason why I didn't do the inside here is because that would just be extra geometry that you're never going to see, right? So there's no reason to have that. So I just go like this. No one's going to know that it's not part of it. So like, let's say I need buttons. I could just add buttons like that. Let's say for some reason you wanted your character to have like a strap or something or a belt. Another way of doing that is I could hit Shift D to duplicate this. Then I'm going to hit Z to move it straight up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut over top of this. So I'm going to hit Tab. I'm going to go just to the knife tool, hit K for the knife tool. And I'm just going to say I want it to look like this. So I'm just going to kind of cut. It's not going to look particularly great. And we can fix the geometry up afterwards. We'll just say it goes like that, and then I'll hit K for the knife again. And I'm just going to try and match it up like that. And imagine I went around the back end as well, okay? So then what I'll do is I will basically just take that piece that I want and extract it. So I'm going to switch my selection type to the select circle, and I can just click, and that's way too big. Can I scrolly wheel it? Okay, I guess we'll just scrolly wheel it closer. We'll just, there we go. Thought it would be easier with this. Okay, so I'll just say I wanted that, right? So now what I'm gonna do is just go to mesh. I'm gonna do separate. We'll say by selection. I'll hit tab to go into object mode. Just delete this part. I'm gonna take this guy now, and then we can just put that back. And then what I want to do is go now into edit mode. I'm gonna hit A to select all the pieces. Then I'll hit E to extrude, and let's extrude out a little bit like that. So it extrudes out. And then that was too much. Let's try that again. E, extrude out. Let's do G and Z up a little bit because it feels a little high. Okay, so we do something like that. Um, and then I can then go into object mode. And then let me see, does this still have the transforms? I can zero this Z transform out. I just went underneath the object properties. I just hit 0, and it'll be back where it was, right? And so now you can see I've done this like strap. So imagine it's like a sash that went all the way around. The only thing is afterwards, you might want to go through and just clean this geometry up a little bit. So like maybe what I would do is hit 2 to go to edge mode and just delete these. I'll hit dissolve edges, okay, which will delete the edges basically. And then I'll just hit K and I'm just going to connect these better. So we'll say this one to this one, just so they all stay as quads. And then I'm looking, this one doesn't have one for the other side, so I'm just going to Control R, put one here, and then I'll hit K for the knife and go here to here, right? You can see now those are all quads. And then I can just take this edge and just delete and dissolve that edge. And you can see quad, 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 right? So I just made sure they're all quads basically. And maybe make some adjustments too, because like this doesn't look very good. I could do like put this up like that. You get the idea, right? If you need something that's going to be kind of tight, you could do something like that. Um, if that's something that you need to do, so you could like almost like make a duplicate, cut out the piece that you want that you're going to like add to, and then you could do something like that. So for instance, my guy's got a collar. Might make sense to maybe do something of that sort. Trying to think. If you're gonna just model, let's say you want your character to have like some sort of like jewelry or a bracelet or a weapon, or like maybe they've got like a sword or a what do you call it, like a walking stick. What I would do is just go into object mode and then just hit Shift A and just start with something and then model it from that. One way to model something that might be like easier for you. So like if it's something that already has a general kind of shape, like let's say we're doing a sword or a walking stick, just start with a cylinder, right? And then just build off of that. But if it's a little more convoluted, let's say you're doing like a weird earring, you could actually start with a grid. So you choose the grid like this. After you grab the grid, you want to up the divisions here. So I have 10, that should be fine. Then what I'm going to do is so I can see it, I'm just going to hit G and Y, pull it forward, I'm hit tab, and then you can see there's all these faces in here. What I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and do the selection circle again and I don't know what, let's say the earring's supposed to be, oh, make sure I hit three. I click off so that I grab face. Okay, I thought it was on three. I am on three. Okay, there it goes. You could almost like, and then I'm gonna hold shift to like, I don't know, let's say it's like that, right? Um, W, W. I can switch the tool quickly that way. Um, so then I could do something like that, and then I want to keep that part, I guess. So I would just go to mesh, just again do the separate by selection, hit tab, go into object, delete the outside piece. Now I have this piece, right? And then I could extrude this or do whatever. And you can make finer adjustments and stuff, but sometimes that will work. If you want to smooth it out, because obviously it's a grid, I could just go into tab, select all of it, and then go to vertex. You'll see average, smooth vertices. And we can just hit Shift R to do that a couple times. And you can see we kind of get closer to shape. And then you would just move the shape around and you can kind of, basically I'm just saying you can start with a grid. Like for example, a student once said like, oh, I want to make stairs. What's the easiest way to make stairs? You could literally just start with a grid and then you would just like grab every set like this, right? And then you would, I'm just going to delete these faces. Imagine I went all the way up, and then you just extrude this across, and you have to turn it sideways, and you end up with stairs, right? So you can sometimes use a grid to kind of just quickly model something out. It's just an option. Um, but another thing you could do, which I would highly suggest, is to actually just go online, look up like model a gun or something, and on YouTube, and then you'll probably find something. You can follow a tutorial and then just adjust it to your own tastes. Um, but the main thesis here is just to separate the model into the pieces. And add any other extra elements. I'm probably going to do some stuff with mine. I'll just do that, more or less off screen.